the replay. It's my pleasure to have you. If you have any questions about this broadcast, please send me a message on Twitter or Instagram at CreativLEI. I am there as well. And you can also find me on Facebook. Good afternoon. I am Lisa of CreativLEI.com, and I wanted to hop on real quick just to give you a little bit of time to ask some of your creative and hand lettering questions. Hi, Stephanie. Thank you so much for joining. I have been doing creative lettering and calligraphy since junior high school, so it's been quite a while. Hi, Sarah. Thanks for joining. Frequently I get asked, because I share a lot of my handwritten samples, frequently I get asked a lot of questions about lettering. And I'm currently planning a series for October about how to learn to love your letters. But I'm preparing now, and so I'm on here to help you, or for you to help me come up with the topics by telling me what it is that you would like to learn. So I thought I would jump on here. I've got a paper in front of me, I've got pens in front of me, and I am ready to answer your questions and to write while you are helping me brainstorm. So if you've been wanting to ask me about hand lettering, now is the time. If you have any friends that are interested in creative or hand lettering or calligraphy, if you would like to share this broadcast with them, if they might have questions also, I'd greatly appreciate that. I do appreciate your hearts too, the acknowledgement that you're there and that what I'm saying is something that's helpful to you. Hi, thank you, Dreama. Thank you for inviting followers. Alright, so I am I'll show you what I have in front of me, some of the things that I'll play with. I'm not going to make this an incredibly long scope. I'm just waiting for my dinner ingredients to get ready for dinner. So I'm going to flip you around. Is it important to have special pens? A few good tools will get you a long way. So I'm going to flip you around. I hope it's not my connection. It was like Periscope was acting weird when I was trying to get on. I'm going to flip you around and show you what I'm using, and then I'll stick you in the tripod so I can write while you watch. Okay, so here are just a few of my most favorite tools. I have brush pens from Tombow, and of course they're tiny, so it's going to be hard to focus. But these are absolutely my most used pens currently for a modern calligraphy and brush lettering. Another favorite are fine liners, either by Zig Millenniums, or the Pigma Microns. Both of those work identically. If you want to do traditional calligraphy, I would recommend starting with a marker. Yeah, I've used Zigs for a long time, probably since scrapbooking days, many moons ago. Hi, Constance, it's good to see you. So Zig has quite a number of tools out, and Tombow does as well. I like to use for colors. I use Tombow's dual brush markers because they work both for brush lettering and they have the little bullet tip on the other side. And then another tool is a pencil that you love. Because when you're practicing brush lettering, a pencil is actually quite helpful to learn about pressure. When I first started learning copper plate calligraphy, the teacher that I had me use pencil first. So these are some basic things. You do not need to start with 50 pens. A brush pen that's forgiving. Oh good, yay! A brush pen that's forgiving. A plain calligraphy marker. This is a dual tip from Zig, so it's got a 2mm and a 5mm, and then some thin black pens. Alright, so let me pop the fisheye on, and I'm going to put you guys in the tripod. So let's see if I set you over here. Woo! And my tripod wants to do some funky legwork here. Hopefully you all can see what I'm doing, and of course it's hard to get a good position that you can see. There we go. How's that? Okay, now keep in mind that I am left-handed, so the way I hold the pen may be slightly different than, oh, it's a fisheye lens that I put on on my phone camera so that you can see more of the picture rather than seeing up close. At the end of the broadcast, I'll show you, because it kind of, if I take it on and off while you're using that camera, it's a little funky looking. But I found a small one. Yes, this is actually new henna. This is from yesterday, and that's from last week. So yeah, so there we go. All right, so the brush pens are, hi Michelle. The brush pens from Tombow are my current favorite. If you have been seeing my Letter It August samples, they've all been done with the hard and soft Tombow brush markers. They begin with an F, and it's a long name that I can't pronounce, but I have linked previously to the full name. But this seems to be the style that most people right now are wanting to learn, the brush look. And what it is that very thin upstroke and the thick downstroke. And traditional calligraphy is done on very straight lines, and modern calligraphy has more of dancing letters. And I do recommend just practice, practice, practice. Is there anything I cannot do? Yeah, keep my house clean. If you were to see the rest of the house, and you probably may have seen that scope the other day, I fail at housekeeping. I am very good at procrastinating. So if you don't have a brush marker, you can do a faux style of the brush lettering also with just a black pen. What do you need?
She wants me to paint her nails.
I'd rather you didn't, not right now. And so what you would do is just kind of draw out the word as you normally would. And then you would go back in, and the strokes that are the going down, so your all the parallel strokes are what you would thicken. And so you would draw in the thicker one and then just color it in. And so then you would end up getting a few different styles from just the one. I make it look so easy. It's because I've practiced for many, many years. And it's not always easy. I do a lot of markups before my final pieces a lot of times. So you can often find scribbled writing everywhere on my workspace. So this seems to be the style that most people are wanting to learn right now. This brush look, or this kind of whimsical cursive. So, but it can be accomplished pretty simply, just with your regular handwriting, if you just weight those up and downs. Your mom is left-handed and very artistic. You're not. It's not always left-handed. I think there are some lefties that are artistic, but not all. So a lot of lefties complain that they have poor handwriting. And this pen might be done. I think this is one of my old ones. Okay, so what I was saying is you can practice with a regular pencil, a soft lead pencil, like a number 2 is fine, or if you get a pencil from the craft store, let's see, like a 4B is a softer lead, so it's going to be even more giving. Let's see if I can push it to a clear. So what you're practicing is, oops, pushing hard on the down and then kind of lifting the pencil on the way up, and pushing hard on the down, lifting on the way up. Let's see. Because it's all about that pressure on the downstroke. So, ooh, sorry. Okay, some minor technical difficulties working with my equipment. So anyway, well, this gives me a chance to show you the fisheye lens, Sarah. So this right here is the little fisheye lens that just clips over the lens on the camera. So hold on one second while I get myself resituated. Okay, so here's the pencil. You can see the down strokes are a bit heavier than the upstrokes. And then this was with the brush pen. And then this was with the Micron or the Millennium pen and just drawing in the thicker strokes. So let me get my tripod resituated and pop the fisheye back on. So what are some of the questions that you have about lettering? And we're back up. Sorry, I know it's a little wonky here. Okay. So, but it doesn't always have to be the cursive either. Creative lettering is just about having fun with your penmanship. Am I going to start a series of scopes for lettering? In October, I will be blogging a series about how to love your lettering, and so I will probably be doing daily scopes that go along with those posts in October. But leading up to then, I'm looking for your questions because I want to make sure that I'm covering the styles and topics that you want to learn. So this is just my start for that as I kind of put together the editorial calendar for then. Hi Amy, thank you for joining. I'm looking for your questions for pooling your ideas for what you would like to learn about creative lettering. Am I doing this kind of lettering in my journaling Bible? I am. Let me grab it for you. So I don't always, some of it is just regular writing. You would want to see zoomed in while drawing. Yeah, I have to get another, and that's why this is probably not taking place until October, because I'm going to need a different tripod that's a little more reliable. So I do some creative lettering in my journaling Bible. I do not cover my journaling Bible with art. What I do is look to mark up the margins in ways that are meaningful to me for how I apply scripture. For someone who has never done hand lettering, what would the basic materials be? Insecurities about handwriting, and where can you find info on the pens? Loved yesterday's book. I will be putting up a post in September that will have all the recommended supplies for coming through the series with me in October, and I will recommend some of the basic tools that I use. You do not have to spend a lot to get started. A simple composition book and a few handy pens are all you need. So this was just regular marker, but using the technique I just showed you about weighting down the up and downs. So that wasn't a special pen, that was just a regular marker. So let's see, trying to find, so that was a brush marker. That's the Faber-Castell brush pen. That's these, which they're not my favorite, but their colors are beautiful. Uh-oh. So, but now here's another style of creative lettering. So this is just print with a micron pen and then coloring inside of it. So to accomplish something like that, let's see. Okay. This is way too thick. So that's kind of like a scribbled letter. And I am picking my driest pens, of course, when I'm trying to show you samples. So in this particular style, you're kind of drawing the letters in a really sketchy way, not necessarily looking for a perfect letter. So I want those rough lines. And then just taking a marker or a colored pencil and just coloring those in. And this would be the style that I would often use in the margins of my Bible. So, something like that. And then, sorry, I'm looking for a nice juicy pen so that you can actually see what I'm doing. Alphabets, like I'll want to do a really wide.
No, I was gonna get that too.
So just kind of, and that might be too thin for you guys to see too well. Here's number 8. So, or something very slanty.
Do you want cheesy dibbles?
So it's just, I do a lot of playing around with letters. So, and really it's just a matter of the more you do it, the more you'll start to find a style that you appreciate within your own handwriting. And then things like mixing majuscules and minuscules. Adding little playful, like dot the I's and J's, funky. You can take simple handwriting and make it into something that you love. And then even like a calligraphy pen, which the proper way to do it would be to set up a grid and then to hold the pen. And like I said, I'm lefty, so I'm holding it opposite that a righty would, and I hold it upward, but the nib is at a 45-degree angle. If you're right-handed, you would be holding it downward, keeping that nib at a 45-degree angle. I don't know if that hopefully that makes sense. But calligraphy is about keeping, or italic calligraphy is about keeping that angle to get your thick and thins.
It's not working.
But you can use a calligraphy pen for creative lettering too. It doesn't have to always follow the rules. You never knew that about lefties? And I think it's different for every lefty. I know that I don't hold my pens traditionally like a left-handed person would. I hold it in a very modified position. But like another way would be to hold the nib so it's at a flat angle, or I guess you would say it's no angle at all, and create letters that way. So it's just a different look. So you can get lots of different styles from one pen. Or let's keep. So you can add the little feet to it, make a serif font, and serif just means with foot. So, and it's just about playing. You know, it doesn't, you have to kind of let go. What's the name of this pen? This is a Zig calligraphy marker, and it's a dual tip. It has a 2mm, which is small, and a 5mm, which is this big wide one, nib on the side. So those are a couple, and so like I said, you can start very simply with just a few pens. A good fine liner, a calligraphy marker, and then brush pens. Because the brush pens actually offer quite a bit of variety too. So you've got practice, practice, practice. Yes, it's just like doodling. You're just kind of doodling letters. So the traditional way to use a brush marker, and mine, because I'm lefty, it has a bend now from the way that I use it. And so you're going really light on the upstroke and heavy or hard pressure or much pressure on the downstroke.
Don't want too much. I told you I'm really good at this game.
So that's a common script for the brush alphabet. But you can print with these too, and it's fun as well. And I use the same principles, going heavy pressure on the down and light pressure on the up. And sometimes I split the pen because I'm pushing a little too hard. So it's a lot of playing and doodling. So you would practice like heavy downstrokes and gentle or light pressure upstrokes. And then another thing to practice is kind of squigglies, because then you're getting the up and down. Any other questions? Okay, I need to sift through my pens and make sure I'm pulling out the ones that are drying up. Want to learn to love your letters, you really have to just play. And so this is this paper that I'm drawing on right now is nothing fancy. The fun long tails and swirls on letters, yeah, flourishes, kind of like, I wouldn't start there. I would get comfortable with the light upstroke and the heavy downstroke, and then move into flourishes, because they do, I would practice that with pencil first. So let's see. Give me a word. Give me a word to write, and I'll play with a flourish. So, who wants to give me a word to write? And I'm going to do it in pencil. Lovely. Okay. So, let's see. So we would go up and down, happy, okay. So now on the last stroke and the beginning stroke, or if there's like an H can be flourished, you can't flourish a letter in the middle of a word. It would look awkward. So this Y at the end is where I'm going to add my flourish. Hopefully you can see it. I don't know. It's a little light. So I would go down, and I'm trying to find the side of the pencil I was using. On my down, I would go down, and I would go lower than normal. And now it's kind of a more plain flourish. A lot of times in script you would see many loops, and what you want to do is you want to make sure your thin lines are crossing thick lines, that you don't have two thick lines crossing each other. You will be able to do that. It's taken me many, many years. Remember, my first formal calligraphy class was in high school. And so that's where I started to learn the basic tips, but finding a style just came by practicing and doing, and just kind of go. I like to look through calligraphy books, but you don't have to be restrained by someone else's style. It's about finding your style in the letters as you continue to play with them. So now, if you've seen the coloring page that I gave to the mommy scopers, had some other added flourishes, just going back in with like a thin line and adding kind of wheat berries. You can add something to the beginning, like a little, I like to add a lot of squiggles or spirals. Do you use calligraphy to make things, cards? I do. In past years, I have done envelopes for weddings and invitations. I've done lettering art for many years. I do canvases currently on commission basis. Yes, I think like this is such a practical hobby. If anyone saw Amy's scope yesterday about the Happy Mail that she got, the lettering that I did on the envelope, that's another fun way to use creative lettering, because it makes mail so much happier to just, write a big name in nice color in a script. What was one of the other words you guys wanted to see? I think happy was in there, so.
Well, girls can be princesses. Boys gotta be blue.
So that's another Y, but this time we'll go up instead. And then you could always add in other ways to fancy up the letters. Oh, sorry. I missed those because I was looking at my work instead of the comments. Oh, man. I'm sorry. So you can add other lines in there. Do the little flowers. Miss, what type of pen? This is actually just a regular drawing pencil. It's a Prismacolor Scholar, and it's a 4B. So if you think of the numbers, as you go up, the lead gets softer. So a typical number 2 pencil is a 2B. So a 4B is just softer. B is soft. H is hard. I don't know why it's not S. I'm not sure, but that's just what I know. So H is a harder lead, so it's not going to be as smudgy. If you can, I don't know if you can see that, but I'm lefty, and that usually ends up all over here. But it's helpful when practicing the ups and downs, the changing of pressure for the brush letters. So what else? Any other questions? Anything else that you would like to see an example of? H1's like carved into pencil. Yeah, it's a much harder lead, so it's also harder to erase. The softer leads are going to be easier to erase from your paper. So like I said, I'll have a shopping list in September of products that I recommend. Like this is a kneaded eraser that's very good for erasing up the soft lead. And then this is my new favorite eraser, is the Mono Sand Eraser from Tombow, because this actually erases pen off of good paper, so that when I'm doing a calligraphy piece, if I make a smudge or if my hand smudges something, I can go back and clean it up instead of starting the whole piece over again. So that's my new favorite. I just got that a couple weeks ago. So there you have it. There is some quick tips about lettering, but I'm really open to any questions because, like I said, this is going to be my series in October. So we've got 31 days to dig through lettering and handwriting and penmanship, and I want to be sure that I'm covering what you guys are looking for. So it's been my pleasure, Sarah. I'm glad you asked on Instagram because I knew I wanted to hop on here, and so that was kind of the prompting to just say, go do it. So ask me anything about lettering. You just got your journaling Bible 2 days ago. It's fun. It took me like 6 months before I was willing to write in it. It took me a while. Yes, I'm glad you caught me live too. It's hard. I can't really schedule my times on here because I've got a house full and you can hear them in the background. I try to keep it, broadcast at times that are a little bit quieter. No. Oh, thank you. It's because they're fresh curls today, even though it's really humid out. I don't know if it's raining up by you, but it's been hot, humid, and rainy all day here. And so I'm a little surprised that my hair is not out to here. It probably will be tomorrow, and if I touched it some more. But anyway, so there you have it. There's some quick lettering tips. Ask me questions anytime because I really think that people should have confidence in their own handwriting. Yeah, I'm curly all the time. It's just a matter of whether it's going to be tame curls or crazy frizz. You work full time, so you don't get to see many live scopes. Yeah, sometimes I forget to put my notifications back on in the morning, so I'll be looking at the phone in the afternoon and go, oh, why didn't so-and-so scope this morning? I'll be like, oh, because I missed all those notifications. Yeah, and at 2 to 1 in October, I will be there with many, many pens, and it'll be in the midst of my hand lettering series, so maybe we'll do a live scope from 2 to 1 about people learning to love their letters, because that way, especially those of you that are right-handed, it's hard for me to explain how you would hold the pen. It will be much different to be face-to-face. That way I can show you how you would, how I compensate as a lefty, how you would flip it to compensate as a right-handed person. Although I will say there are lots of tutorials out there for right-handed people and very few for left-handed, so I'm glad to be a lefty letterer that can show this side of things. Well, that's all I have for right now. If you don't have any further questions right now, I'm going to go ahead and end this broadcast so I can go make dinner. I hope you have a great evening. Possibly I'll hop on later, but if I don't, I will see you all tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you for those of you that shared with followers and for all the hearts. I truly appreciate you being here. I'll talk to you later.